Hello everyone. In this video, I just want to go over my personal thoughts about attending art school and my decision not to do so. But before we get into that, I just wanted to talk about what I'm working on real quick. So lately, I've been reading this massive book on ancient history. If you haven't read or learned much about ancient history, you really should check it out. It's very fascinating how our whole world is just this ongoing story where everything just slowly changes over time into the world we know now. So because of this book, I've been more interested in ancient art, specifically the art of the Sumerians and Egyptians around, I'd say, 800 BC-ish, which inspired me to create some art pieces based around other historical artworks. And the historical artwork that I'm drawing the most inspiration from right now is this statue made by the Assyrians. And I just really liked the combination of different animals in this, and I thought it'd be fun to try and give my own interpretation to it. The statue has a body of a lion, and I don't have that much experience working with, drawing or painting animals. So I thought I would do a couple studies of lions to get myself a little more acclimated to drawing them. Alright, now back to the topic at hand. Why I decided not to go to art school. So coming out of high school, I decided that the best option for me was to go to university and get a degree in the area of business. And this is because I thought it aligned the most with what I want to do in the future. My end goal is to be running my own business as an artist, and I think there's a lot of skills that I can gain from going to school for business that would help me out in the long run. Going to university, in my situation at least, was a lot cheaper than going to art school would be, and I think that was a really big factor in my decision. Right now, I'm coming into my sophomore year, and my current plan is to keep trying to build up my own brand as an artist, and because of the degree I'm getting, I think I have a pretty good chance of getting a well enough paying job whenever I graduate, which I think could really propel my interests as an artist, because then I can put more money into my own personal works. I feel like trying to make it as an artist on social media it's very difficult and it's very risky, and I wanted to create the best possible environment for me to succeed. So I found that having a backup, like having just a normal 9-to-5, it's kind of comforting, because if doing social media as an artist doesn't work out, then I always have something I can go back to. And even if this isn't really like my favorite option, it's nice to know that I have something I can go back to if it doesn't work out. Now, the main point of this video that I wanted to get into is to try and help you make your decision of if art school is for you. And I wanted to just go over some of the good parts of going to art school and then some of the negative aspects of it. The first pro of art school is the structured learning environment that art school gives you. Trying to learn to become a good artist on your own can be very difficult, and having someone who's guiding you through the process can be an incredibly important tool to have. This can help you improve immensely in a short period of time because of the quantity of art that you're producing. The strict deadlines that school often has also helps you create more. You don't have any excuses not to do something when you don't have all the time in the world to do it. And this can be a little stressful in the moment, but the amount of improvement that you can get from forced practice is incredible. And it is very difficult to get that kind of drive to work that much on your own, which is why having a structured learning environment can be so helpful. The second pro I have for art school is that you can get feedback on your artwork. You have professionals at your fingertips able to push you in the right direction. And this is something that self-taught artists really don't have access to, and it allows you to fix those things that are not working so much in your art. Those professionals, they have been in your shoes and they know the places that they went wrong with their art, and they're able to correct that. They can see right away if you're having issues with perspective or your anatomy is a little off, and then bring you to the resources to be able to improve in those areas. And if you're self-taught, you have to find those things on your own, which can be really difficult if you're in the process of learning and you don't know exactly where you should be going with your art. The third pro I have for art school, and I think this is the most important one, is the connections that you can build. You're put together with so many other artists that are all trying to make a living doing art, and you're able to learn from each other and build working relationships that will help you for years down the road. The faculty that you learn from also have direct connections to people they know in the industry, and they will not hesitate to help you out in any way that they can. This is really important because when you're trying to break into the art world, it's kind of sad, but the thing that matters the most is the people that you know. So whenever you are going to art school, you should be trying to build as many of these connections as you can, because this gives you the biggest chance of being able to put yourself out there and get to that spot that you want to be. Now that we've looked at some of the points of why you should go to art school, let's look at some of the reasons why learning on your own might be a better fit. The first reason may seem like a bit of an obvious one, but it's the cost of art school. It is not cheap to attend school for art, and with how many resources there are available online, it's becoming easier and easier to learn art on your own. There are even paid courses online that are comparable somewhat to what you'd learn in art school at just a fraction of the cost. Things like Proco, and then there's many other art YouTubers that have their own courses that all give you a good foundation of what you should know for art. Nowadays, it doesn't seem like there's a good enough reason to go to university for art. Unless you're trying to become an art teacher or a professor where you do need that art degree to get that position, there's just no reason to go into such high amounts of debt for it. If you're trying to become a working artist, building a portfolio and learning those skills you need to work professionally are much more important. This segues into my next point a little bit, which is that time you'd be spending in art school, you could be spending building up your skills to get into the workplace faster. Say if you want to be a concept artist, instead of spending 4 years in university studying art, you can study the artist that you want to become and build a portfolio that suits the type of work that you want to do. You don't have to learn every aspect of art before you start working. The skills that you need to create good concept art might not necessarily completely translate to things like oil painting or working with watercolor. And you can just expand and play with different things as you go, instead of spending a few years studying each different area and becoming well acquainted with multiple. You're able to learn one thing, apply it, start learning more and applying those as you go. And one last thing to consider is getting burnt out. I know that this can happen whenever you spend too much of your time working on something, and if you're working on art every single day and you're having to always put in that work and effort for multiple years, you may not even enjoy making art anymore, which would be awful if you go to school this whole time and then you end up not enjoying it anymore. So just keep that in mind. If you study art on your own, I feel like it allows you to have more fun with what you're creating, but it all really just depends on your own internal drive. And remember that these are just my thoughts on this from what I gathered from research, and this video is by no means trying to say that one's better than the other. I just think it's important to discuss the good and bad sides of going to art school and studying on your own. So just keep this in mind and make sure that you do your research. Making this video was a great opportunity for me to reflect on my decisions, and I still find that I question if I did make the right decision to study art on my own. I just think about how different my life would turn out if I did decide to go to art school instead. And I wonder if me deciding to study on my own is sacrificing me becoming a better artist in the future. I want to create something great with my art, and I don't want to mess up that chance. There's so much that I want to accomplish, and the last thing that I'd want is to not be fulfilled with my life. So those are just a few of my thoughts. I hope that you were able to get something out of this video, and thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want to keep seeing stuff like this, and I will see you in the next video.